Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm N.O.XPLODE from Fitness Overcomer. Have you ever done a glute focused workout and the next day you're sore in your quads and not your glutes? Well, then you've clicked on the right video. Some of us tend to have lazy glutes because we sit on our butts most of the day. So our glutes are not being targeted or they're not activated during the day. We're more using our quads. And some of us also, it's just genetics and you're just a more quad dominant person. All is not lost. There are things that you can implement to make sure that you're really working the glutes and building that glute muscle. Okay, so let's get into the video. Remember to like this video, remember to subscribe, click the bell so you can get notifications on future videos. Alright, let's get down to business. So a lot of us have lazy glutes. We sit on our butts all day, we're working in front of a computer, and then we're getting ready to do our glute workout, and we go straight into our exercise. Wrong. We have to do what's called glute activation exercises. We want to fire up those glutes. We want to get the blood pumping into those glutes so that the body knows that we are going to work the glutes. So therefore, you want to do certain exercises. I would prefer like banded exercises. If you don't have a band, then you can do body weight exercises. There is a video that I did for one of my booty sprout glute workouts. I'll put the link below and you can check out at the beginning of that video. I went through some of the activation exercises. Later on, I will make a separate video with glute activation exercises that you can follow. But you do want to do glute activation exercises to fire up the glutes, to get those glutes ready for working. And so this brings me to my next point, which is the mind-muscle connection. I've mentioned the mind-muscle connection many times before. That is being able to focus on that muscle that you're working. The mind-muscle connection actually goes right in hand with the glute activation exercises. So as you do the glute activation exercises, for example, doing a glute bridge, doing a fire hydrant, doing a donkey kick, activating those glutes, you want to focus really on the movement. You want to focus on the muscle. You want to squeeze that muscle, preferably doing it at a slower pace so you can really get the feeling of the muscle being worked. So the mind-muscle connection comes with practice. If you're a beginner, you probably won't get that right off the bat, but the more that you practice the mind-muscle connection, the easier it will become. Then, of course, there are certain exercises where if you're not doing the proper form or your foot stance is not correct, then you're not going to feel the glutes working. You're actually going to feel the quads working more. And so I'm going to go through a couple of these exercises where we tend to feel more of our quads instead of the glutes. And it all depends on your foot stance, how wide your feet are, sometimes the direction of your toes, and a lot of times also how deep you go into the movement. And so let's take a look at some of those exercises. The first one I'm going to look at is the squat. Now, of course, you can do the squat with a dumbbell, you can do it with a kettlebell, you can do it with the barbell. Same concept you want to use for each of those variants. This time I'm going to just be using the dumbbell. So I'm going to pick up my dumbbell. A lot of people want to target the glutes, but their feet are hip width apart, shoulder width apart, and their toes are pointing forward or just slightly to the side. If you are doing this stance, you're probably going to be targeting your quads more. So looking at it from the side, my feet shoulder width apart and they're pointing forward, and I'm going into a squat. You can have the barbell squat, or I'm just doing a regular dumbbell front squat, and you go down and up. With this stance, I'm actually feeling more in my quads right here. What you want to do if you're targeting the glutes, you actually want to have like a sumo stance. So feet wider than hip width apart, toes pointed out, roughly about 45 degrees. And then you go deep into the squat. So you can hold the dumbbell like this, or the way I had it before, like this. So if you're holding the dumbbell down, I'll show you from the side. Shoulders up. Deep squeeze. Woo! And I am feeling it right in the glutes. So that's the difference. When you're squatting, you want to do more of a wide stance. You want your toes pointing roughly about 45 degrees. It's called the Sumo Stance. That brings me into the goblet squat, which is the same concept. So the goblet squat, same thing. Wide stance. You want to go really deep down. Elbows on the insides of your knees. Back up, squeeze. From the side, wide stance. In the back. If you do it with a narrow stance, again, it's going to be the quads that you're working and not the glutes. All right. Another exercise we're going to look at is the glute bridge. So we're going to go down to the floor. So a lot of times with the glute bridge, a lot of people, what they will do is have their feet narrow like this, a narrow stance and close to their butts. So as you come up into the glute bridge, you're actually feeling, I'm feeling all quads right now. I'm barely feeling my glutes. What you want to do is open the legs out, more of a hip stance. If you want, you could try playing around with the foot position and move the toes a little bit out at an angle. Push up, drive through your heels as you come up. And squeeze. Now I can feel my glutes and down. And you want to tilt the pelvis up and down. Again, if you have your feet really far out, you will tend to feel it more in your hamstrings. So you want to make sure that you play around with your foot position. It's usually about 90 degrees and hip width apart. Toes can be slightly pointed out or forward and raise up, squeeze. That's where I feel my glutes more. If you have your feet closer to you, you'll feel it in your quads. If you have it further apart, further out, you're going to feel it in your hamstrings. So it's very important where you place your foot, where you're actually going to feel which muscles you're going to work. So play around with the foot position and see what works for you. A lot of times if you have a band, you put the band here, it kind of helps activate the glutes as well. You do the same thing when you are doing the hip thrust. So likewise with the hip thrust exercise, you want to do the same thing with the foot position to feel the movement in the glutes as opposed to your quads. Again, if you have your feet closer to you, you're going to feel the quads working. If you have your feet further out, you're going to feel the hamstrings. But if your feet are shoulder width apart and at night it forms a 90 degrees at the top of the movement, then you tend to feel it more in the glutes. Alright guys, so I wanted to share with you some of the things that you can use or implement if you're feeling the movement more in your quads. If your quads are sore after a glute workout, if your quads are sore the next day and not your glutes, then you want to try to implement some of these strategies to help with feeling or to help it work in the glutes more. Remember to check out the video posted below for glute activation exercises, and in the future I will be doing a separate glute activation exercise video that you can just click on and do before you start your workout. Alright guys, so remember to like this video, remember to subscribe, click the bell to get notifications of future videos. Until next time, happy glute building, bye for now.